Astrocytes feed neurons, talk metatrophic trash to axon and dendrite alike, depolarize the glucose fix. Astrocytes deal from glial cells, spread neuronal love all over, all around, and dole out strophes. Astrocytes need bliss, want the highs of recognition and transmission, but star-fucking is an acquired agency. Astrocytes sing lullabies, signal the saddest dormancy, and so, this time, it's terminal. This is a poem called Strep Song. You are singing at the monolithic gate of the university, in the gleaming parkade with a pocket full of pills, on the seminary steps with a throat full of strep. The air is full of winter, and it's May Day in this silent psychic city, and you are singing strepped on the steps, on the lawn, in the car, singeing the city in and out at 3/4 time, within the seductive difficulty of the song you are disseminating. And this is a poem from Home, and Home is Winnipeg. I'm sorry for that, but I can't help it. And it's called The Switching Yard Song. Here the sky sickens its way into your sleep, it whimpers in your ear, drips on your tongue, so endless and pointless. It's a prairie sky, after all, with a pristine meaning. Living in flatland is neologistic. At times it strains sense, stains pallid skin, permits tense tenement dreams to spread, germinate on an ice-laced plain, and the sky here still persists. And I'm here now, home now, with medicinal verve, with blistering ink on pharmacy receipts. The words drift east and are hooked back into the intermodal like AM broadcasts. But the overwrought, overcast sky is larger than sin. It is not recalling, but retelling home. Thin wisps of pollen and dandelion seeds swathe flatland. High beams drape over the mythic switching yard. The switching yard is glimpsed in drips. The sky disjunctively pricks out its meaning. My first Coach House book, which came out in 2004, it was called Hello Serotonin, and I've had 10 wonderful years with that publisher. And this is the second book. It's called The Theory of the Loser Class. Buy it. Front face. Want as in lack, as in went, as in lent, as in wuss, as in loss, as in wash, as in lush. That's a poem about being drunk. This is a poem, again, a poem about home, and it's called Via Graham Mall, a song for Earl Nelson. Earl Nelson was a famous mass murderer, and he was the last person in Winnipeg to be hanged. And when I moved to Winnipeg in 2003 to teach at the University of Winnipeg, moved back to Winnipeg, I was living in I was living in an apartment block, which was the former site of the Vaughan Street Jail where Earl Nelson was hanged. And so I thought it was appropriate to write to him. I am with you tonight, Earl Nelson, as I drag my rope through the snow from Smith to Vaughan. A memory lapse. I've thought of changing my name. The rooms are harder to rent by the day, squalor as potential. St. Boniface calling or taunting, Headingley an alternate case. My victims will be IT workers, lounge singers, dental assistants, my methods charming anachronistic, my mood subjunctive. If only the constables were literate. Strangulation dates itself. I will wear a whipcord suit and a pocket watch. For now, I sulk through the great unplowed, the city an unwashed comforter, and I see Mrs. Emily Patterson and the arsoned ashes, splinter and wreckage of Broadway, and you are with me tonight, Earl Nelson, the potential of a 10-foot extension cord, and the limitations of sainthood. I move on to indexical elegies, when I started to get good at poetry. Do you fall in love at the drop of happy? Do you fall in love at the drop of happy? Are you brink? Did you clean? Do you miss yourself? Are you dripping? Did you fail? Are you held? Did you internet cafe? Did you slum? Are you napping? Do you last? Are you heading there? Did it out you? Do you lure? Are you dropping? Do you lull? Are your friends? Did you pulp? Do you mean this? Are we meant for this? You were missed. Polyclinique. Find your place, a local, measure the paces. Arrive with head down headlong into intent. Lace the notion with disrigorous play and ploy, somehow put the idea under chloroform. Deliberate and douse the thing in a flow of solvents, not as remedy, nor as spark, nor wick, but as a strategic sublimation conspicuously consumed. Trick your dreams into commonplace routine. Matte offerings of concrete nouns that ease in shame. Stitch up a coterie of kindreds. Note where the connections are severed. Finally, sew lazily, forcefully, and see the language gnaw at its sutures as you go. Oh, and tip well. Robert Lowell's Skunk Hour. All love is careless, bleeding sadly into something, mainlining its way into varicose. The millionaires of summer swelter away in old Montreal and delve deep into merry me's. And I'm scared all the way down Skill Hall. It's always a point of almost pride. No setting to this poem, but your mind's all right. And the pediatricians are sleeping, so just skulk softly. And this is my final poem, and it's called Leaving My Land. I don't know if you guys know what my land is, but you're in it. Leaving my land. It's been nice. How Park Avenue replanted the supplanted with terrible recursion, where the flower lady gave until her frame broke and her heart restarted. How you searched for synonyms for denizen that whole sweltered summer, where your peak life was park life and I never. How you surged orange, swerved red, and saw impossible blue, where the fall set its table with novelty cutlery and flip cups. How you told him he couldn't on your stoop, but considered him haloed on others. Where your dive delved lower until it met you halfway. How your full shame was semester-sized. Where the churches were thrift shops, the temples had green rooms. How your ex had an axe that went grinding on Wednesdays. Where you returned again to that vinyl you hate, his despicable voice was a cellist's whine. How your wake-up was stifled, where your walk-up was a water-damaged slow burn. How you spent every weekend searching for replacement parts for your guile, and where it's been nice. You found at last in yourself the capacity for terrible recursion, and after all, you won't be leaving my land. Thanks, guys.